Welcome to the Straight Red Card, and today Brett and I are going to talk about the U.S. versus Panama semifinal in the Gold Cup, and well, we just barely pulled that one out, Brett. It looked like Panama and the mighty Beloy, and you have to give a guy like Felipe Beloy some credit, because if MLS teams aren't looking to sign this guy, somebody should, because he was just, again, a rock in the center. I mean,
overall, they're kind of a disappointing game that we were missing. Not overly disappointing. It was obviously still positive that we won. We seemed to be missing some form of sharpness there. It seemed like, because we were making touches here and there, we were getting out of pressure, but then on the final third, our final play just seemed to fizzle from underneath us, and we just couldn't put anything on goal, let alone make it difficult for Panama.
Yeah.
We had a couple opportunities. We finally put one away.
It was a great pass.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Let's start with it, because first it was Freddy with a great pass out wide. Beautiful pass. Freddy had some moments where he made some back passes when he came in that were really highly questionable, but when he had any space at all, I thought he made some great decisions, and what a pass to Donovan, and Donovan made the most of it. And Dempsey, I think, made a point of saying, hey, this guy, Landon Donovan, he's the guy that made this goal happen. It wasn't me. I just stuck out my foot. Yeah.
No, that's exactly what I saw, too. And then I saw him give credit to Adu also afterwards.
Yep.
Credit where credit's due. It was a great goal. Freddy with a brilliant pass. Donovan with a wonderful driven cross. And like you said, Dempsey, all he had to do was stick out his foot. I'm glad he learned from his Guadalupe incident.
Well, I don't think there's any way he could dribble that, but yeah.
No need to trout that one.
He didn't try to cut that one back. But yeah, I think the nice thing is, and I don't know what Dempsey's saying there. I think what Dempsey's trying to, as a great teammate, what he's trying to do is say, hey, my buddy Landon has been spending a whole lot of time on the bench, and but he's still the man, and don't you forget it. And he should be starting these games. I don't know if that was a subtle message. I don't think he was sending a message to Bob necessarily, but I think in general there's been a lot of criticism of Landon lately because he has not performed yet at the Gold Cup. And I think Dempsey just wanted to point out, hey, this guy is still a top player, and he can still make that rocket pass.
His play did sort of drop there, especially after the World Cup, it seemed.
Yeah.
However, I think Bob was faced with a problem here in this game, because you had Bedoya and Kleshin, who actually had a really great game against Jamaica. And, going into Panama, it was still sort of strange to not see Donovan starting, but I could see why he did it, Yeah. It'd be kind of bad to say, hey, great game against Jamaica. You're riding pine today,
Yeah. Well, I think Kleshin made it easy for Bob. Because I think his first half was full of some questionable touches, and I know Dempsey and him were switching off on covering the wing on defense, but Kleshin just did not look sharp tonight, and I think that made it really easy for Bob to insert him at halftime. And then on the other hand, between Jones and Bradley, I thought Bradley was fine tonight, but very conservative, while Jones ran his balls off all night. I have notes and notes and notes and pages of notes when I just watched Jones running all over the field with incredible energy, stopping counterattacks, stopping stuff in the box, stopping stuff on top of the box, starting counterattacks, and making the through passes. Maybe some of them didn't work out. They were deep and they didn't work out. Some of them did. And I think Jones was the only guy who made some, from the midfield between Jones and Bradley, who made some switching fields, passes that really gave us some opportunities. And I didn't think Bradley did that. I think Bradley was extremely conservative. Mm-hmm. He didn't make any really amazing through passes for me. And his energy level seemed a little lower than Jones. I thought Jones was out there like he had something to prove tonight.
No, I mean, I agree. Jones is coming off of the great game against Jamaica. And, I mean, like you said, he was playing balls to the wall. I mean, in all honesty, he was running around doing exactly all of what you said, which was kind of surprising since he was playing with that yellow card.
Yeah.
Obviously, we didn't want him to pick up another yellow card.
But he played smart, though.
Mexico. He did. He played very smart, and I think that's what made the difference. He did try to play a couple long balls that didn't succeed, and you know what? The attempt was there, and that's what we need are those attempts because we've seen it. Right. Half the times those are completed, and we have a nice attack on the other side of the field. Bradley, like you said, he played conservative. I thought it was a very average game. He maintained possession. He moved the ball around, small touches here and there. He attempted some plays, some worked, some didn't. Nothing really great to talk about, in all honesty. But he didn't hurt us either. And, I mean, I thought he was getting a little tired there, roughly around the 60th, 70th minute, but then sort of picked it back up after the goal.
Yeah, but then at the very end, Freddy makes this great cross to him. And what the hell was Bradley if I'm Bob Bradley, I'm smacking Michael upside the head when he comes off the field because he should have just rocketed that thing.
Oh, yeah. I agree completely. And he should have ripped it, and that's exactly what everybody around me was saying is, why didn't he shoot that?
Yeah.
I think that's been a problem with a lot of the U.S. this tournament is that whether or not we're looking down on our opponents or not, I have no idea, but we're trying to be too cute in the box.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like Bradley was just trying to make that cross to Dempsey right in front of the goal for another put away. But quite frankly, there's a defender marking up on Dempsey in between him and Bradley. And like you said, Bradley should have just shot it. He should have ripped it.
I tell you someone who would have ripped it. Dempsey. Dempsey has no problem ripping those. What'd you think about, for me, the move by Bradley, super big, ballsy move, putting in Freddy Adu for Agudelo. I thought it was, first of all, it was a smart move because Agudelo was running his butt off all game, and he looked probably like he was running out of some gas too. But Freddy, when he's moving forward, now if he moves back, not so good. He has a hard time sometimes with patience and waiting for the right pass, and he'll pass it back to nobody. But when he's moving forward in open space, Freddy's got that eye we all know about and we saw when he was younger. And that was a great pass, and I thought Agudelo played fine, but Freddy was the difference maker, at least in the second half. Oh, God, did I just say difference maker? Oh, God, help me. Yeah.
Well, and I think I know you watched the game in Espanol.
I did. Univision.
But if you watch it on Fox Soccer Channel, I thought they stated it perfectly. Agudelo played well. However, moving Adu into the more or less the midfield position, like basically what Dempsey was playing and pushing Dempsey up to what Agudelo was playing.
Yeah,
I think Dempsey was going to be able to handle the physicality of the Panamanian backline.
Yeah.
They were a very physical team, and Agudelo did well. But you know what? I think Dempsey can handle his own better against them.
Yeah,
and if the play improved with when Adu came in, just simply because it added a creative spark. And we saw that a couple times.
Yeah.
So it was good to see it was good to see him back in the action. We'll put it that way.
But I think that, gosh, I hate saying this, but I'm kind of won over at least, because we move from the 4-2-3-1 in offense, and what actually happens in the 4-2-3-1, especially in the first half and even the second half when Donovan came in, Agudelo plays out on the wing, he plays in the middle, he plays on the right. Kleshton and Dempsey are actually switching back and forth constantly. Sometimes Dempsey covers the left midfield, sometimes it's Kleshton on defense, and it ends up looking like a 4-4-2 or a 4-4-1-1 on defense. And yet, as soon as the ball switches, it can be anything you could possibly imagine on offense. Everybody can they can move to whatever open space is available. And that whole rotation of that top four At the first half, it was Kleshton, Dempsey, Bedoya, and Agudelo. It ended up being Donovan, because Donovan started on the left, but when he made that pass, he was on the right, and then he ended up playing left midfield. He played underneath as well, underneath Agudelo at the beginning, and then with Adu later. I mean, the great thing about that whole rotation is you have your back four, you have Jones and Bradley, who kind of solidify the middle right in front of those back four, and then those front four, they really just do whatever the hell they want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and you know what? It causes troubles for a lot of, especially CONCACAF defenders, because we haven't seen this against any non-CONCACAF members.
Yeah.
And you know that was one thing that they talked about, is that it seemed like the Panamanian when they played defense, when they were on the defense, that they played more of zonal defense. You know, they marked a space rather than marking man, because it would just cause confusion. And that's the one thing I love about Agudelo, is that, as you stated, you know, he's playing up top, but you know he's off to the right, and then he's over in the center, and then he's off to the left, and he's back to the right. You know, he's moving around, opening up spaces for the midfield, which is what they're supposed to be doing in this 4-2-3-1, to make their presence known by attacking on the opposite flank, and it opens up the space, and that's something I think Agudelo brings in this formation that, you know, Josie Altidore didn't.
And it looks like for the first time, the players involved in the 4-2-3-1 really understand what that means. And they're moving around. They're switching spots constantly. I would love to see Bob Bradley's diagrams, but I think it's a lot of the players, you know, talking on the field and saying, you know, I'm going to switch over with you. You cover my space. I'll cover yours. You know, we'll keep rotating around. The only guy that you mentioned that didn't move much was Bedoya. He kind of stayed outright the whole game.
Yeah, it seemed. I mean, you know what? And I didn't mind this because I mean, in all honesty, he was a workhorse. He was up and down that line. He was always on the right hand side taking hits. I mean, he took a couple solid hits too.
Yeah. Well, two interesting things about watching it on Univision instead of on Fox Soccer Channel, which, you know, I rarely do. One, Donovan after the game did a interview in all Spanish, which I've never seen before. I knew he could speak Spanish. He's very comfortable at it. My only other thought, Brett, was that this field that they played on, unlike RFK when we played in D.C., was much thinner and didn't allow us much room on the wings like where we exploited Jamaica, because the field was much wider in D.C. Things were all pretty tucked in tight tonight. I mean, and Cherundolo, you got to give him credit. I mean, the guy made a great pass that could have led to a goal early on, but it really did kind of limit our wing dominance.
Well, and not only that, they had talked about before the game started that the players were talking about how the ball does funny things on the turf that was out there that night.
Yeah.
Which may or may not have had any effect in the game, but it was a bit strange. But
yeah.
I want to know what was up with all the people getting in Tim Howard's face tonight. Good Lord, he got two of them where he's just swatting them away. He's like, get away from me, you know?
Yeah.
He probably said something a little more than just get away from me, but still, come on.
That's kind of when I was thinking, geez, I wish Gooch was on the field. But
that's again.
Yeah, because you're not going to mess with Gooch. But you know, Tim held his own tonight, and we weren't intimidated, and we weren't pushed around like we were in the first game versus Panama. And I thought we did a lot better job with our physicality, and I think Bob Bradley's going to keep his job at this point. So with that can probably be put to rest.
All the Bob Bradley haters can just go ahead and assume that he's going to be here till 2014.
You can go on hating him, but he's going to be here. I still think Felipe Beloy, by the way, if anybody in MLS doesn't pick up this guy, he's going to be playing somewhere else next season, in Italy, Spain, Portugal, the Premier League. Fantastic player. And that's my final comment of the evening. All right, for the Straight Red Card, this has been Brett and Derek. Good night.